The rope climb can be broken down into 3 simple movements that can be trained individually, and you don't even need a rope. The 3 steps to a rope climb are lift, lock, and stand. And while the best way to train an obstacle is actually on the obstacle, we aren't all so lucky. So I'm going to show you how to train these movements in a normal gym or possibly even in your own home. So let's get to it. We're going to do a variation of a CrossFit move called toes to bar. This is where you hang from a bar. You're going to curl the feet out in front, bringing the toes to the bar. Clever name, I know. Now for this variation, you want to keep your hands together. And then when you curl up, your feet are going to be together too. This is going to force your knees to the outside, kind of like a butterfly sit. For a little extra training, you can also grab a towel, a shirt, whatever, throw it right up over that bar. And that way you're going to work that crush grip like you're holding the rope because you got to squeeze that towel to keep from coming off. So same move, different grip. That's going to get you ready for the rope. The goal is to swing all the way up to the bar, but if you can't make it, don't worry about it. Just think the higher you can swing your feet, the more you'll be able to move on the rope at a time. But even a small lift will still get you to the top eventually, right? So just concentrate on bringing those feet out in front instead of lifting them straight under you, and flare those knees out around the arms. You're going to need strength in a flex foot. And to do that is a very simple exercise that you can do pretty much anywhere, except the car. I wouldn't suggest this in the car. You're going to sit with one leg extended, and then you're going to take that foot and flex back so the toes are pointed at you. Then you're going to take the other foot, put your heel on the toes, and push away, and just try and fight it. And that is pretty much it. Boom. Try with the other foot. You've been pushing over the toes, so you know what that feels like. It's pretty difficult. I want you to take your heel and put it over the knot of your shoelace right there. Now push away and try and keep that flex foot. It's way easier because you're pushing at the ankle joint instead of way out over the toes where you have less leverage. So this is where you're going to lock in your rope. If your rope's over the toes and you're pushing out here, it's going to be way harder and the rope is more likely to fall off the end. That's why we want to try and keep it back over the knots of the shoelaces, and we're going to be pushing right there. This is building the strength in case we wander or anything happens, then we still want to be able to fight that. But this is where we want to get our lock. Now for speed. The faster you can unlock and relock, the less time you're going to be hanging, but accuracy must come first. If you don't have a strong lock, you're going to be hanging the whole time. So if you need something to hang on to for balance, that's totally fine. And what you're going to do is stack the knots of your shoelaces. So lead with the knee. I always say stand like you got to pee. You're going to bring the knee over. Feet are crossed, toes perpendicular. And the knots of the shoelaces are stacked right on top of each other, so you're pushing down right at the ankle joint. Go slow. Make sure you're hitting the same spot every time. And when you're consistent, that's when you start picking up the pace and trying to get in and out faster. You want to be able to move your foot kind of far away because you want to have you want that rope to have room to slide or do what it's going to do. So try and get farther away and still be able to do it fast. I also want to mention, I know a few people who lead with the heel. So instead of crossing the toes over like that, they bring the heel in first and the toes are to the outside. So knee to the outside, toes to the outside. This is totally fine. It's still a very strong lock. But if you notice, the feet are still perpendicular. And I'm still trying to press at the ankle joint rather than anywhere over the toes or even on the side of the foot. I'm just leading in differently. Now that we've gone over that, I want to jump back to another variation of the lift where we're going to do one leg at a time. So we're going to bring one up and bring the other one to it to simulate that locking, unlocking motion. So we're holding the bar, and whatever variation you're doing, you're going to swing one leg up, bring the other one to it, up like this, side, just here, and just trying to lift and do all those combinations. It's really going to help the grip too. For the stand, all you need is any vertical pole. So gym rig, stop sign, whatever you can find. You're going to stand with your heels on the ground and toes up on the pole. If you can't get close to the pole, that's fine, because I actually want you leaning back anyway. You're going to hold the pole. Arms are nice and relaxed. They should be pulling back instead of down. So we're here. Then you're just going to walk down into a squat. If you can make it all the way to the ground, great. And then stand back up. The arms are just keeping you from falling backwards. If you can't make it all the way down, that's totally fine. Once again, think of this as like moves on the rope. So if you can only get this far, that's going to be a smaller move on the rope, but it's still going to be a move on the rope, and you'll get there eventually. The more you do this, the more flexible you'll get, and you should be able to get lower. The lift is going to work the strength getting into that. This is going to help with the flexibility and also help you use your legs instead of trying to pull yourself up the rope. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. If you did, you know what to do. And please, be sure to check out my S-Wrap and J-Hook videos. I'll leave links down below when you're ready to get up and start climbing. Till then, keep practicing. See you on the course.